Today, in addition to celebrating one of the Sundays of the Nativity Fast, we are also celebrating the conception by Saint Anna of the Pentecost. And then also, I wanted to let you all know that probably you heard in the petitions already this morning, and certainly you heard if you were here last night, the mention of Archbishop Gabriel's name. And I wanted to let you know that when Synod met last week, they decided that after Vladika Peter's 40th day was ended, which was Tuesday, that they would give us as a temporary administrator Archbishop Gabriel of Montreal and all Canada. And so he's still the Archbishop of Montreal and all Canada, and he's not our permanent bishop. They will name a permanent bishop once they find one who they think is going to be the most suitable. But for the time being, for anything that we need a bishop for, and there are things that we need bishops for, that will fall to Archbishop Gabriel of Montreal in Canada. So we will be praying for him in our services, because it is the Holy Spirit working through him now that will oversee our spiritual welfare in the Diocese of Chicago and America. So that's important for you to know. I would encourage all of you, I know that you do pray for our bishops, to make sure that you pray for Archbishop Gabriel in his job to steward this diocese. I want to talk about the gospel readings today. And the two feasts, or the two things that we're celebrating, seem very different, right? We're celebrating the Sunday, and we have the reading about the healing of the 10 lepers, and then we're also celebrating Saint Anna, and we have this reading that has several parts to it. It ends up telling us, who are the brethren and the mother of the Lord, and that's all who do his will. But it starts off with this, whoever lights a candle doesn't put it under a vessel, but puts it up on something. And then one of the other Gospels say, we don't hide your candle under a basket. And this is very closely related. This concept of not hiding the light applies to the reading for the Sunday, the first one that we heard. So 10 lepers were healed. Now, we need to understand that leprosy in the ancient times was not only a death sentence, but it was almost a sentence of death before death. Leprosy, which we now call Hansen's disease, is a bacterial infection that is spread through saliva. And in traditional societies, oftentimes people are eating with their hands, they're eating out of the same dishes, and diseases that are spread through saliva can run rampant in those cultures. And this was true of the Hebrew culture. And so people who had leprosy were cast out. Right? They didn't know that you just need your own set of dishes. Right? Don't kiss anyone. But they were cast out, and they lived together with other lepers. Other people had been cast out, and they were dead to society. And for them to rejoin society, if they were healed, and it happens occasionally that a person's immune system can fight off leprosy, they had to show themselves to the priest, who was one of the most knowledgeable people in the community, to make sure that the person was indeed healed and was no longer contagious. So the 10 lepers met Christ. He said, go show yourselves to the priest, and which meant that he was going to heal them. And on the way to the priest, they were healed. And 10 were healed, and one came back and glorified God. And Jesus said, well, where are the 9? These are the 9 people who hid their candle under a basket. one put his candle up high so that its light could illumine us. And we see this operating in our lives all the time. God reigns on the just and the unjust alike. God's blessings shower down on all of us. And we see it all the time. People are healed of diseases. People are rescued from destitution. People have good things happen to them. And we all know people who have had good and miraculous things happen to them. And we all know people who've had great things happen to them, and they don't go to church. Right? They don't pray. They don't go to church. They don't receive the sacraments. In fact, they're not very nice to their neighbors. And when you ask them about that good fortune that happened to them, they're just going to sit there and going to talk about all their hard work and that they did it themselves. Right? We know these people. These are the 9. The 9 who were cleansed and who didn't return, glorifying God. Now, the one returns and glorifies God. And Jesus says, "Thy faith has made you whole." What doesn't he say? He doesn't say, "Well, I'm glad that you came back. I want you to go and yell at those people who didn't come back. I want you to go out into the world and be resentful of them. I want you to go out and tell them what horrible, awful people they are and never invite them to your parties and shun them." He doesn't do those things. Right? He says, "Your faith has made you whole." That's more than the cleansing of leprosy. Right? That's more than good luck. That's more than being healed of a disease. That's more than being cured of your poverty. What does it mean for a human being to be made whole? Well, that means that person is returned to the original state of Adam. They're whole. They don't have anything to worry about. The one who returns to glorify God doesn't have anything to worry about. What does that mean? Well, he tells us in the other gospel, which is actually just a few pages earlier, right? He says, "To those who have much, more will be given. And to those who don't have anything, even what they have will be taken away." So he's talking about the one who was cured and made whole and glorified God. To him who has much, more will be given. And what's the smallest thing that you can have? Right? Let's think about that. What's the smallest thing that you can have? We can look at Sania, right? And we know, what does she have? She has, right now, in her status, right? She has a grateful heart. She lights up when people come to see her. She's happy to see them. She's not resentful. She's not bitter. She's not angry. And so those who have nothing, right? They don't even have the smallest thing. They don't even have that which an infant has. They don't have a grateful heart. And even what they have will be taken away. Because if you don't have a little bit, if you don't glorify God and thank Him for His beneficence, then you've got no relationship to Him. He's absent to you by your choice. The creator of all things, the giver of life, the fountain of immortality. If you don't have a grateful heart, what you've done is you've said, no thanks, I'll take care of it on my own. Well, even what little you have, your shadow of an existence will be taken away. But to the one who has gratitude, that one is made whole. Right? That one is complete. And so, this week, when so many of our neighbors will be celebrating the birth of the Lord, and so many of them won't be filled with gratitude for the Lord, right? But they will be filled with want, right? They will be filled with, I didn't really get what I wanted. They're gonna, on Christmas morning, they're gonna open stuff, and some of them are gonna say, this is all right. I didn't really get what I wanted. That's the one. That's the one who, what little he has will be taken away. But there will be others in our community who will wake up Christmas morning and they will glorify God because he came to save them. Let's be ready in a couple of weeks, right? 15 days, I think. Let's be ready when we celebrate the birth of the Lord to be that person, the one who glorifies God for everything that he has done for us. In the name of the Father, and of the Son,